Fantastic. So welcome to your advanced goal setting techniques. Hi from Phuket. So wonderful to see you all here today. It's been about, nearly a month since we've done one of these free webinars. So it's nice to be back back on the horse to share with you some techniques. I've been doing a lot of workshops and trainings in these last couple of months, all virtually. With students from all over the world. So these virtual webinars are here to stay. So thanks again, everyone, for joining us. My purpose today, my intention today is to share with you as much as I can in the 1 hour we have about how you can achieve any goal in your life. I will be inviting you to do a little bit of a practice session with us. So start thinking about the goals that you want to achieve. And if we've got time, I'll even do a live coaching demo. If someone is feeling brave and would like to volunteer, then I'll help you to achieve your goals sooner rather than later. My wonderful neighbours next door in the condo started some heavy construction about half an hour ago. So if you're hearing a bang bang or a boom boom or a drill in the background, that's courtesy of my neighbours. Thank you very much, guys. So without further ado, guys, lots to cover today. Let us jump in. So if you're joining us for the first time, pardon me, if you're joining us for the first time, welcome. Over through the whole lockdown period since March this year, I've been doing a ton of these types of webinars. If you'd like to take a look at any of our previous webinars, I think we've uploaded maybe 20. Take a look at our YouTube channel. And if you don't have as much time, then you're welcome to join our exclusive Facebook group called 60-Second Leadership, where we share tips and techniques in 60 seconds or less to help you on your growth. And so what I'll do, I'll share you the links for both of those. I'm going to paste that into the chat box now, guys. So feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel and feel free to join us on 60-Second Leadership. So for today, I need you to know what you need to know before you start setting any of your goals, kind of something you need to know in advance. And that we've been doing it wrong. Oh my goodness. I've been working with so many corporate clients over the last 5 years or so, and I'm still surprised how many corporate clients get it wrong when it comes time to setting up their KPI or their quarterly goals or their yearly sales goals and things like that. We've been doing it wrong. So we're going to take a look at that and then find a way that we can make it even better by making your SMART goals smarter. We're also going to take a look at the 3 biggest mistakes that people make with their goal settings, whether it's your individual goal or a corporate goal. And most importantly, we're going to tap into that extra 95% of our brain power. We're only consciously aware 5% of the day. 95% of the day, we're running on our subconscious mind, our programs and our habits and our beliefs and all of that that's kind of running in the background, in our subconscious, below our conscious awareness. I'm not just making these numbers up. You can check Dr. Joe Dispenza, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Deepak Chopra. They all confirm that we're only conscious 5% of the day. That's shocking. When I heard that for the first time, I thought, oh, really? But it's true. 95% of the day, we're running on our automated programs that have been programmed from the past. So how can you take that goal that you want to achieve and how can you lock it into your subconscious mind to drive you forward to achieve the goals that you want to achieve? We're going to look at how to correctly structure your SMART goals, right? So by not only making them smarter, but to also lock them into your subconscious mind. And then what are some tips on developing group goals, whether it's for your team or whether it's for your family, right? It's absolutely awesome to set up some family goals together with your husband, wife, kids, and so on. And much, much more, as much as we can squeeze in to 60 minutes. As you know, I try to have this as interactive as I can. So I will invite you at some point, guys, to pop some answers or questions into the chat box. I'm alone today. Coach Christy is out conducting a coaching session this morning. So if you do have any questions, please pop them into the chat box and I'll do my best to answer as we go. And if I ask any questions, please feel free to pop them into the chat box as well. So one thing you need to know before setting any of your goals, and it's a question you need to be kind of honest with yourself when it comes to setting your goals. And this might sound a little obvious, but again, you'd be surprised how many people kind of mess this up a little bit. Firstly, this goal that you want to set, is it your goal? Is it really your goal that you want to achieve, or is someone else telling you that this is what you need to achieve? Right? Now, let me give you an example of this. And of course, this is just an example. There are many, many examples. Some people are fulfilling the goals that their parents gave them. Now, that in itself is not a bad thing. You know, clearly our parents want the best for us. They want you to be a doctor or a lawyer or whatever it is that they want you to be. Well, you need to be clear, is that goal really yours, or are you doing it to just keep them happy? Now, if you want to do it because you want to do it and you have their full support and encouragement to send you to medical school or engineering school or whatever, awesome. But I've seen it time and time again, and Coach Christy has seen it time and time again, that often when some people are trying to work towards a goal, and I say the word trying because they have this goal, and then as they begin to go through the coaching process, they suddenly realize that's not actually their goal. It's someone else's. Now, it might be with the best intention that someone gave them this idea or this goal or whatever, but rest assured, if the goal is not yours, you won't be as motivated, you won't be as passionate, you won't be as proactive as you need to be to go out there and get it, right? So while you might have suggestions from family or caregivers or people that do care about you, just be sure that you own the goal as your own, because that's going to make all the difference when it comes time to creating your action plan and actually taking those actions to achieve the goal. So is that goal yours, or is it based on some kind of, here's another example. So from the family, or is it some kind of cultural goal, some kind of cultural expectation that you need to, for example, get married, have 2 kids at a little house with a white picket fence, right? That's kind of like a cultural goal that the culture in which we live kind of almost imposes on us. Now, again, if that's your goal and that's what you want, awesome. Just be mindful not to do what everyone else is doing to just kind of fit in, because again, you won't have the emotion behind it to drive you forward to achieve it. Does that make sense, guys? Cool. Now, the second one is, how do you feel when you think about your goal, right? So as you're starting to formulate the goal that you want to achieve, you've got to check in with yourself. What is your emotion telling you? What is your feeling telling you? Now, let me give you a really quick clue here. If you feel motivated and inspired, awesome. But if you think about a goal and then you immediately think, oh, that's hard. I don't know how I'm going to do it. You know, if you feel less than positive, then maybe that's not the right goal for you. You want to be motivated by your goals. You want to be inspired by your goals. You want to be driven by your goals. And if you don't feel that, then something's not quite right. You either need to change the goal to choose something else where you do feel motivated and inspired, or you need to look internally and find out, is there something not aligned with achieving that goal? And we'll cover that a little bit more towards the end, what I'm talking about there. In summary, you need to be clear of your negative emotion. Your values need to be aligned towards achieving your goal. In other words, you need to remove any internal conflict, right? So an internal conflict might be something like, for example, a family business right? And there's an expectation that you take over the family business, but you really have zero interest in taking over the family business, right? So this is where if it doesn't quite feel right, then you need to either dig a little bit deeper and align yourself towards taking over the family business, or having that conversation with your family and choosing a different goal that makes you totally inspired. Now, again, I'm not going to tell you what your goals are. That is not my job. I'm not here to decide your goals for you. You're all big boys and girls. So you must decide your own goals, because if they're not yours, you'll end up somewhere else, or it will be painful. It will be difficult. It will be slow. You'll be dragging your ass along to try and achieve that goal. So make sure it's yours, and make sure you light up when you think about it, right? Now, it doesn't mean that every goal you want to achieve is easy, right? Sometimes we have to work hard, but overall you want to feel compelled, you want to feel pulled towards the achievement of that goal. Make sense, guys? Yep. So they're the two things you want to kind of be aware of before setting any big goals that you want to achieve. So go ahead now, guys, on a piece of paper. I just want you to write down any 2 goals that you'd like to achieve in the next 6 months, 6 months or less. So quick, go ahead, take a pen and paper and just write down any 2 goals. It can be a health goal, a finance goal, a career goal, a business goal, a spiritual goal, whatever it is for you, relationship goal. Go ahead, just take 1 minute, and I want you to quickly write down 2 goals that you would like to achieve. Please do that now. Any 2 goals. And if you've done a lot of goal setting before, do it again. And if you have any questions as we go, just pop them into the chat box. I will check the chat box from time to time. Awesome. Cool. 20 seconds, guys, 20 seconds. Write down any 2 goals you want to achieve. Beautiful. All right, let's keep moving. I know that you know how to do that very, very well. Now, let's take a look first at why traditional goal setting is ineffective. Yeah, there are 3 main reasons why traditional goal setting is ineffective. In other words, it's not as effective as it could be. Number 1 is they're not simple. Now, again, I'm sharing here from the literally hundreds, if not thousands of companies and individuals that I've worked with over the years, especially with companies, right? Most of my training and coaching experiences with organizations. So I do a lot of leadership training, executive coaching, delivering coach training programs for executives to learn how to coach, for example. And Coach Christy, my amazing, gorgeous, talented wife and business partner here at Coachology, she focuses mainly on one-on-one coaching. So usually with one-on-one coaching, it's a little bit easier to support your client to help them create or simplify their goals so they're nice and simple. Organizations, oh, they love to make complicated goals. They will sound something like this. We want to increase sales by 10% on the last year's financial year. Or we want to increase profits by 8% on the fiscal year of the first quarter of the year of the decade 2000. Or, you know, we want to reduce wastage by 15% off the second quarter of last year's numbers. So in other words, these goal statements end up being like a paragraph of words, and they're simply not simple. So as a result, those goals, they don't get locked in either consciously or subconsciously, because they're just blah, 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 blah on a page, right? And as a result, it just doesn't register. And because it doesn't register, there's no direction in which to go. And therefore, the actions that are created from the teams are going to be very weak, right? Because there's no clear destination. So they're not simple. And the second reason why traditional goal setting doesn't work is they're not date specific. Now, people will try to put a date on a goal, and they'll say things like, by the end of this quarter, or by the end of the financial year, or by the end of the month, or by the end of our internal accounting audit month, whatever that means. So what you want to do is you must be specific on a date. And by a specific date, I mean the 14th of October 2020 or the 31st of December 2020. Whatever the date is, the 30th of June 2021, right? Not second quarter, not the end of the month, not by the end of the financial year, not by the end of the calendar year. That's a trap. And again, this is what most organizations are doing, right? They're structuring these goals. Number one, they're making them long and complicated. And number two, they're just putting, by the end of 2020. It's not specific enough. And I'll explain why in a moment, but just rest assured, your dates must be specific. And I would say 90% of organizations get this wrong. They think the end of the month, the end of the quarter, the end of the year, they think that is clear enough, and it ain't. Yeah. And then finally, they're not focused on. So while even if they somehow keep it simple, and even if they manage to get the date specific, they'll do a brainstorm one day, they'll agree on the date and maybe even a bit of an action plan, and then they roll up the flip chart, they fold it up, they put it under the desk, never to be seen again. They kind of talk about it sometimes, maybe once a month at the monthly meeting or whatever, but it's not really focused on. And this is important because if you want to engage that 95% of your subconscious mind, you must be focusing on your goal regularly. You must be focusing on the destination where it is that you want to go. Make sense? Cool. So the way I like to think about my goals when I'm setting my goals, it's the destination. It's where I want to go, and it's the final destination. It's not halfway along. It's not vague or general, right? I'm based in Bangkok right now, and let's say I want to go down to Pattaya, for example, down in the south. Well, if I'm using my Google Maps, right? I'm going to use my Google Maps, and I want to get to Pattaya. Well, I'm not just going to type Pattaya because last time I checked, Pattaya is quite big. And so it's too vague and it's too general. So your destination is your outcome. And of course, your outcome is your goal. So if you want to get to a precise destination, then you better make sure you enter the precise coordinates or address into your Google Maps or into your GPS. Because if you don't, you're going to end up somewhere else. You're going to get lost. So whenever you're structuring your goals, I want you to think about it's your GPS coordinates. It's the final destination precisely of where you want to go. Not vague, not fluffy, not kind of accurate, specifically accurate. That's what you must be doing when you're correctly structuring your goals. Now, traditional SMART goal setting is SMART goals, which I know that you probably know: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. This is pretty good. And again, a lot of organizations are not doing it because while they might be kind of specific, they're not specific enough. And they're definitely not simple, and they're not time-based accurately because they're using the end of the quarter and so on. So let's take a look at the evolution of the SMART goal. Before we do that, though, I want to explain a little bit more about the psychology of the SMART goal. So as I mentioned before, we are operating with just 5% conscious awareness day to day. 95% of our day-to-day actions are subconscious, meaning below our awareness. This simply means that we're running on our programs and our habits. And there are many habits that we do, from the way our morning routine is, the way we get up, the way we brush our teeth, we have our coffee, everything about our morning routine, the way we drive, right? The right way we drive to work, the way you put your pants on in the morning. Everything is a habit and a routine. And this is how you lock in a habit into your subconscious mind, right? And this same process that we use to create any habit or any program is exactly what we're going to do with our SMART goals. So we want to know, how can we lock in a SMART goal into our subconscious mind so that we can use that extra 95% of our brain power to pull us towards our goal. First, you need to have clarity, right? You need to be crystal clear. And this is kind of what we mean by being specific, right? You need super duper clarity on what your goal is going to be. Then you need to focus on it, right? You don't just write it down once and then close the book and then never look at it again. And then you need to do this repeatedly, again and again and again. For example, remember when you learned how to drive a car, right? You were sitting in the driver's seat. You were probably a little bit nervous, like, oh, we're going to drive a car. And then you had an instructor sitting next to you, whether it was an actual driving instructor or an uncle or an auntie or a mother or father or whoever it was. Someone was in the passenger seat. What was the first thing that they did? They gave you clear instructions, right? They gave you clarity about how to drive a car, right? Hands here, your feet do this. This is the indicator. Put your seatbelt on, check your mirrors. There was a lot of clear instructions, yes? And then you started to drive. Now, were you focused? In fact, did you have laser focus? You bet you did. When you first started to drive, you were like, focus, checking the mirrors again, checking the mirrors. Okay, clutch, brake, or gear stick. Yep. You were laser focused when you started to learn to drive. Now, did you drive just once and then master it? No. Did you drive 10 times and master it? No. You drove 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times you've driven a car. And with that repetition, now you've created a habit. You've created a program. And this is what your subconscious mind does. Your subconscious mind is scanning your behavior and actions every moment of every day. And your subconscious mind is looking for patterns of behavior or repetitive behavior. And as you repeat something, what you're doing is you're making it important. So as you're doing something again and again and again, clearly it is important to you. And the subconscious mind says, he or she, he's doing this again and again and again, or it must be important. Here, let me write a program for it so you don't have to consciously think about it again. And in that moment, you've created a habit. You've created a program in that 95%. Just like how your heart beats by itself, just like how you breathe automatically and brush your teeth in the same way every day, day after day after day, you have a habit and a program. So now when you're driving a car, you can be driving the car and sipping on your coffee and talking on the phone and changing lanes and you're doing all of this all at the same time without much conscious awareness. Yeah, you're looking for traffic and you're looking where to park and where to turn and all of those kinds of things, but 95% of your driving now is automated. So what if you could take that goal and you could lock that into your subconscious mind so that even when you're sleeping, your subconscious mind is thinking of ways for you to achieve that goal? Would that make achieving your goals easy? Yes or yes? The answer is yes, absolutely it would. So let's take a look now at some of the 3 biggest mistakes that people make when setting their goal, right? They focus on what they don't want, right? So they focus on what they don't want. These are the 3 of the biggest mistakes. So in addition to the ones we focused before, they're not simple, they're not time-based, and the other one, this one here is 3 extra biggest mistakes. So, and especially when you're setting your goals, right? This is for when you're setting your goals. So a lot of people, they focus on what they don't want. Well, that's kind of where you are now. Like if you want to achieve another goal, by definition, that's going to become a new version of yourself. That's the destination that you want to get to. Right? So you don't want to focus on where you are. You want to focus on where you want to be. Again, your GPS coordinates, right? So the biggest mistake is people, they focus on what they don't want and they keep focusing on what they don't want and they don't want. how the hell can you come up with a decent action plan if you keep focusing over here? You must be focused on that clear destination. Now you can make a very, very powerful and effective action plan. Their goals aren't meaningful enough, right? So like we mentioned at the very, very beginning, the two things that need to happen before, you've got to check in with your emotion. How do you feel about that goal? And this is what we mean by meaningful. Is there an emotion attached to that goal? Because if there isn't, well, you might achieve it, but it's probably not going to be much fun, and it'll probably take you twice as long as you think it's going to take you. So what you want to do is make sure you have your emotion invested in that goal as well. Make it meaningful, maybe not just for you, but your family, your business, your community, your country. Make it meaningful, attach some emotion to your goal, and then look out. You will leap out of bed, driven by purpose, to get out there and achieve that goal. Make sense? And then finally, it's not their goal, right? In other words, there's no ownership. Well, no ownership is just like, whatever. Yeah, if I achieve it, I achieve it. If I don't, I don't. It's not very motivating. So they're the three biggest mistakes people make when setting their goals. Now, tell me, what are some of the consequences of unclear goals, guys? I invite you to put some answers here into the chat box in a moment. I'll start to get the ball rolling. What are some consequences, guys, of unclear goals? Well, clearly, you will not achieve your goals. If your goals are unclear, you're not going to achieve it. If you just put, Pattaya, well, it's not clear. So I'm going to get near Pattaya, but I'm not going to get to my exact destination. You'll get lost, right? You're just going to get lost. You'll end up somewhere else, right? You're simply going to end up somewhere else, not where you think you want to achieve. You will waste time and money, right? A goal in here is a wish. It's only as you go through the process of articulating it correctly outside of your head that it becomes, this is how you begin the manifestation process, is by taking it out of here, and you think it's clear in here, but it ain't. It's only when you begin to write it down and structure it in the correct way that now the manifestation process has begun. You begin to plant seeds in your reality of how to achieve this goal, right? What are some other consequences? You won't get promoted, right? If you're working in an organization and you don't have a clear goal that you want to grow within the organization in X amount of months or years, then you ain't going to get promoted. You're going to stay at the same level again and again. Okay, so what do we got here, guys? I thank you for, oh, wow, look at all these comments. Yeah, you'll confuse team expectations. Absolutely, you will, Dr. Faz. Thank you. Yep, you'll lost your way, lost your ways. You'll go nowhere. You'll be stuck. The wheels will be spinning. And you go, why am I not going anywhere? Team ambiguity. Oh, I love it. Procrastinate. Yeah, you'll procrastinate. I'll start tomorrow. But here's the thing. Procrastination is driven by emotion. So when you're not driven, when there's no purpose, when there's no meaning, you'll be like, tomorrow. And without a clear destination, that's going to drop your emotion even more. Poor resilience, unclear goal equals no goal. Exactly. Disoriented planning. Yeah, whatever action plan you're going to come up with, well, it's like me trying to work out how to drive down to Pattaya, but if I haven't got the clear destination, I've probably got 10 different options on how to get there. Well, I could totally choose the wrong one because I'm not clear on my outcome or my destination. What else? What else have you guys been sharing here? Yeah, you'll definitely lose your motivation and you'll definitely be unhappy. Exactly. You guys get this. I love it. Thank you for sharing. You'll stay the same. If you don't set any goals, or if those goals are unclear or vague or fluffy, you will stay the same. Nothing will change and you'll be the same. Now, there's no judgment here. That's okay if that's what you want in your life. But I have a clue. If you're on this webinar today, you're not interested in staying the same. You're interested in becoming a better version of yourself. And it's not necessarily better than others. Who cares what others are doing? I want the best for you. I want you to be a better version than you were yesterday. And so staying the same, that ain't going to help, right? And then guess what? When you stay the same and you stay in the same and you stay inside of your comfort zone and you stay inside of your comfort zone, at some point in your life, you will feel regret, right? That'll sound like, oh, what if I had have done that a year ago? What if I had have done that 5 years ago? Oh, 10 years ago, it's 10 years and my life is still the same. Oh my God, right? So regret is not a good feeling, guys. Regret is not a good feeling. You'll never achieve them until you review and revise your goals. Yeah, and guess what? It's okay to review and revise your goals. It's absolutely okay. Guess what? Your goals aren't necessarily set in stone, right? I've heard some coaches talking about, well, you must never, ever, 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 never change your goal. Sorry, I don't buy into that, especially at the moment. We live in such a dynamic time in the world right now, with so much uncertainty and ambiguity going on out there. If you need to be agile, you need to be nimble, you need to adjust yourself and possibly your course, otherwise you're going to end up somewhere else, right? So yeah, review the goals if you need to and change them if you need to. It's okay, right? Life changes, situations change. So you better have that flexibility and adaptability and that agility to create your future, not someone else's, only your future. You are 1000% in control of your future, even with a government lockdown and all of the other stuff that's going on. No progress, no improvement, no happiness. Exactly. You will be unhappy and unfulfilled. This is what happens. This is the consequences, guys, of unclear goals. So I know we're not here to set unclear goals, are we? No, we're not. So let's take a look at how to correctly structure your SMART goal, to take that SMART goal and make it smarter. So S, it still needs to be specific, that's for sure. And I want you to keep it simple, right? My thoughts on this are, you want your goal to be so simple, right? No, as simple as you can, but no simpler, right? Don't get me wrong here. It needs to be so simple that you could walk out onto the street, you could show your goal to someone and they could read it and then they understand it, right? This is the kind of simplicity that I'm talking about here. It needs to be measurable. So measurable means, how do you know when you've achieved it? And it needs to be meaningful, right? You've got to have your emotion invested in it. Because guess what? Your emotions reside in your subconscious mind. So if you want to tap into that 95%, right, in addition to the clarity, focus, and repetition, right, you want to put some meaning in there as well. And that will tap into that 95% even more. Achievable and agreed. So if it's a team goal, it needs to be agreed. And guess what? It needs to be agreed or aligned with your conscious and your subconscious mind as well. And I'll expand on that a little bit. Relevant and realistic. I think that makes sense. And then timely, right? An exact time frame, not by the end of the quarter, end of the year, any of that stuff. It needs to be a precise time frame and towards your outcome, right? So when we think about that subconscious mind, that 95%, your subconscious mind is like a 4-year-old child. And so when you say to a 4-year-old child, don't touch the hot stove, what do? Right? So that's what's happening when you focus on what you don't want. So this is why when we look at the T, you must always, always, always focus on the towards outcome, the destination, your GPS coordinates of what you want. Not where you are now, right? Where you want to be, when you're correctly structuring your SMART goal. So Let's take a look at some examples here, guys. And again, I invite you to share into the chat box here. Tell me, is this a SMART goal, guys? What we've got here, 2 million USD by the end of the second quarter. Is that a SMART goal? Write your answer down, yes or no. Yeah, put it into the chat box. We've got one no, 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 no. Exactly. It's not a SMART goal. So what's missing here, guys? Tell me in the chat box what's missing. What is not smart about this goal? Quick in the chat box. Yeah, it's not clear, it's not specific enough, and there's no exact date, right? Exactly. So we'll do this one together. We achieve two, could be by whom, but that's by whom, Dr. Faz, that is more in the action plan, right? That more becomes how we're going to achieve it. So when we're talking about the goal, we're just focusing on the end destination first. Yeah, that will come out. So here in green, we achieve 2 million USD profit, right? Because 2 million USD, is it profit? Is it revenue? Is it sales? What is it? By the 30th of June, 2020. This is a SMART goal written in green. Let's take a look at another example. And again, please put your answers into the chat box. I want to lose 5 kilograms by December. Is that a SMART goal, guys? Yes or no? Quick. Pop your answers into the chat box, please. Is that a SMART goal? Okay, how are we going for time? All right, we're pretty good. The answer is no, right? So when in December, and here's the trick. This is a tricky one too, by the way. Probably 98% of people will structure their goals like this. But remember, we must focus on what we want, the final destination. So when we say lose 5 kilogram, 5 kilogram from what? Right? We don't know the start weight, but more importantly, we don't know the end weight. So you must always start with the end in mind and get very, very clear on the destination, right? So for example, we'll do this one together as well. Now I am 80 kilogram by the 1st of the 12th, 2020. Now let me explain this one for you guys. So when you're structuring your goal statements, I want you to make them present tense. So where it says here, I am 80 kilogram, not I will be, not I want to be, not one day, maybe someday, I hope to be 80 kilogram. No. I am 80 kilogram right now, right? That's the first bit of clarity. Now, secondly, if we look at the first goal statement there, I want to lose 5 kilogram. Now, and then we've got the correctly structured goal, I am 80 kilogram. Well, that presupposes that my current weight is 85, right? So not I want to lose 5 kilogram and I'm currently 85. Remember, we must start with the destination. So I am 80 kilogram. Clearly now we have a very specific date, 1st of the 12th, 2020. And then there's that one little extra word at the beginning of this goal statement here. Now, let me explain this. When you use the word now, it is a command to the subconscious mind. It is a command to that 95% extra brain power that you have. Now, I know it sounds a bit confusing because I'm saying now and then by the 1st of December, but check this out. All you're saying to your subconscious mind is that any time between now and the 1st of December, I am 80 kilogram. And when you do this with clarity, focus, and repetition, in other words, you repeat this goal to yourself, you incorporate it as an incantation. Now, I'm 80 kilogram by the 1st of December, 2020, yes. And if you do that every day for 5 minutes, you will be surprised at the actions and the motivations that you are going to come up with. Does this make sense, guys? And I've seen this. I've done this in my workshops. I get someone up, I drag them up to the flip chart. I get them to shout out their weight goal. And then they go down to the buffet at lunch. And then after lunch, I'll say, how was lunch today? And he says, Luke, what did you do to me? I said, what do you mean? And he said, well, normally I would get like 4 plates of food and an extra helping of dessert. Today, I only had 2 plates and I skipped dessert automatically, subconsciously. He just didn't feel like eating anymore. And we didn't even do an action plan, guys. We're just getting clear on the outcome. Does that make sense? Yeah? Excellent, Tiran. Very good. Very good. Congratulations, Tiran. Yeah, I might have covered some of this before. Increase customer satisfaction by 3%. Is that a SMART goal? Yes or no? No, it's not. But guess what? You will get this instruction from your big boss. Increase customer satisfaction by X%. Increase sales by X%. Reduce wastage by X%. No, it's not SMART. So now customer satisfaction is 95% by the 30th of June 2020, for example. So that presupposes that it's currently 92%. And when you get these instructions from your boss, you say, thank you, boss. And then you get your calculator and you simply structure it towards the outcome that you want to achieve. And then finally, get promoted by the end of 2020. Clear as mud, yeah? So now I am commercial director, general manager, marketing manager, just insert whatever job title you would like to have. Now I am a successful business owner. Does this make sense, guys? Yes, I know it does. So quickly, you wrote down 2 goals before. I'd like you to take one of those goals based on what you've learned just now, and I'd like you to structure it as a correctly structured SMART goal. Please do that now just with one of your goals. You can do the other goal later. And for those of you that are feeling brave, please share your correctly structured SMART goal into the chat box, and I'll give you some feedback if you like. Please show the slide of SMART. Well, it's written here, guys. Specific and simple, measurable and meaningful. It's all there. And yes, we can show it at the end. Yep. But you've got your SMART stuff all here, guys. So quick. Quick, guys. Make your SMART goal SMART. And if you'd like, go ahead and pop it into the chat box, 30 seconds. If no one wants to share, that's okay. We'll keep moving on. I've got 18 minutes. Tick tock, tick tock. Who would like to share their SMART goal? It can be a business goal, a weight goal, a personal goal, whatever it is for you. Anyone would like to share into the chat box, please? Now, I am 75 kilogram by the 31st of January, 2021. Perfect, John. Perfect. Do you get it, guys? It's simple, it's specific, it's boom. I am 83 kilograms on the 24th of July, 2021. Perfect. And thank you, Adrian. And by the way, the use of the word now, it's optional, guys. You can use it if you want. You can delete it if you want. I like it personally because it's a command to the subconscious mind. You're telling your subconscious mind, focus on what I'm about to say. Now I am. Your subconscious mind is, oh, yes, boss. Yes, I'm listening. Right? And so therefore it's more likely to be embedded into your subconscious mind. Thank you, Mandy. By 30th of June, 2021, I understand thoroughly about the sales side of technical education of a startup in Vietnam. Pretty good. Pretty good. My suggestion, Mandy, see how you can make it even a little bit shorter, right? As a little bit shorter and even more punchy. The more punchy and short it is, the more motivated you will be. If it becomes too long and wordy, our motivation decreases. I own my first asset in US stock market by the 31st of December, 2020. Nice, Sky Yui. Perfect. Yes, I love it. You get it, guys, right? So you know how to do a SMART goal now. Thank you to those that shared. If anyone else wants to share, keep sharing into the chat box and we'll keep moving. Now, whether you think you can achieve your goal or you think you can't achieve your goal, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So it's really important, guys, that you have the mindset right. And the thing is, when you structure your SMART goal correctly, and when you follow the process of locking it into your subconscious mind with clarity, which is what we just did, by the way, focusing on it regularly and then repeatedly, repetition, focusing on it regularly by making a goal statement or a vision board or incorporating it into your incantation, when you do that with enough repetition, you are 50% more likely to achieve your goal. 50% more likely to achieve your goal when you structure it like we've just learned just now. So you need to be positive about your goal. And if you think you can achieve it, you'll be much more likely to achieve it. But if you think you can't achieve it, then chances are you probably won't achieve it. So what do I mean by that? If you're 50% confident that you'll achieve your goal, then you'll achieve 50% of your goal. So you need to dial up your confidence or your certainty to 100%. And that might come when you start to create your action plan. Dr. Faz, welcome back to Thailand, brother. Be nice to see you here. Okay, so group or family goals. The only thing that's really different here, guys, when you're working with a group or a family, is that you need to agree together that it's achievable and agreed. Now, of course, you need to agree on the specifics, and of course, you need to agree on the time frame, but most importantly, it needs to be agreed. So if you are the leader of a team, you just don't want to go into the team and say, hey, team, here's our goal for the next quarter. Let's go and do it. You won't have the buy-in. So you'll need to invest a little bit of extra time. You'll need to have an open, adult, mature conversation with them. You're going to steer them towards the goal that you want to achieve. But what if you open the conversation, say like, okay, team, great. Listen, we need to start planning for the first quarter of 2021. What kind of goals do you think we can achieve in our department, in our business, whatever it is that you're doing? And then you open up a discussion and a dialogue. You do a little bit of brainstorming. You've kind of got an idea of what you want the goal to be, but you kind of nudge them. You motivate and inspire them towards that goal. Well, now they'll all have the buy-in. So you'll be much, much more likely to achieve that first quarter goal for 2021, which, by the way, is the 31st of March, 2021. Just checking if you're paying attention. Okay, now I want to show you a little picture. I just made this 30 minutes before we started here today. So please don't judge my graphic skills or my graphical abilities, please. So here you are. You're in the rocket ship. You are the pilot of this rocket ship. And you have just learned how to correctly structure your SMART goal. Where's my, there they are, 1 second. Okay, so here is your SMART goal. You've just learned how to correctly structure your SMART goal, and you have correctly structured it. You're focusing on it, you're repeatedly focusing on it, and you're really, really clear. So you're now 50% more likely to achieve it. But what about that other 50%? What is going to get in the way that's going to prevent you from achieving that goal? Now, we're not even going to talk about the action planning today. That's a discussion for another time. Something else needs to happen to increase your chances of achieving this goal. And this is what it is. Those big black clouds. If, you know, NASA, there was a recent documentary on NASA about, you know, that they had bad weather and they have to delay the launch of the shuttle. Well, guess what? If you have clouds, big black clouds looming inside of your mind, that's going to prevent you from a successful launch towards your goals. Now, what do I mean by clouds? What I mean by clouds is negative emotion. So if you have a lot of negative emotion, such as anger, frustration, fear, it might even be anxiety or depression or whatever kind of negative emotion, that negative emotion is going to cloud your vision towards the destination that you want to achieve. In other words, you might consciously have written down your SMART goal, but remember, your emotions reside in your subconscious mind, that 95%. So if there's a lot of negative emotion in there, just like the clouds, you can't see the moon on a cloudy night. You can't see the sun on a cloudy day. And so you won't be able to see your goal, and you won't know how to get to your final destination if you have a lot of negative emotion. Does this make sense, guys? Right? The second thing that's going to hold you back, the second thing that's going to prevent you from launch is your compass. You need to have a correct direction in which to move towards your SMART goal. Now, yes, consciously you've written your SMART goal. Hopefully you're doing your incantation and things like that. But if you have some kind of internal conflict, or your values are not aligned, then this misalignment of your values, or this inner conflict, this is your compass on which direction you're going to go. So for example, let me give you an example of inner conflict. The example we used before, there's an expectation that you continue in the family business, yet you want to set up your own business. And so you have this kind of internal conflict going on. Your values say, well, family is important to me and I want to support my family, but freedom is also important to me and I want to be free. I want to be creative. I want to do my own thing. So this values misalignment creates an internal conflict. So your compass will be going, it'll be moving in all directions, and that's going to prevent you from launching and taking off because your values are not aligned, or there's some kind of internal conflict going on, which again is in your subconscious mind. It's in that 95%. The final part that's going to prevent your launch is the fuel in your rocket ship. Are you running on a full tank, or are you running on vapors and fumes? Because if you don't have the right fuel, or if you don't have enough fuel, then that's going to prevent you from launching to achieve your goals. Now, what do we mean by fuel, guys? Is we mean the negative thinking and your limiting beliefs. So the negative thoughts that we have moment to moment, by the way, we have 60,000 thoughts per day. That's a lot of thoughts, right? 60,000 thoughts per day. 90% of those thoughts are the same as the day before, and 70% of those thoughts are negative. A repetition of negative thoughts creates a limiting belief, right? A limiting belief is very unconscious. It's like your default operating system, and it's operating in the background. So negative thinking and limiting belief is just like having a few drops of fuel in your rocket ship. And that is not going to propel you towards your goals. So what you must do, guys, to overcome these restrictions, these things that are going to prevent your launch, is there's two ways. You can either clear up all of this baggage in your subconscious mind. You can clear it up first, or you can just decide. And you can decide, I'm going to achieve this goal no matter what, and I'll clear this stuff up on my journey. So you've probably heard the saying, ready, fire, aim, right? So you can launch your rocket ship, but you better start to clear up these negative emotions by removing them. You want to align your values as quick as you can, and you need to shift your negative thinking to positive thinking, and the positive thinking creates empowering beliefs. So you must make an empowering decision. You must decide, like wholeheartedly, congruently, authentically, that yes, I want to achieve this goal and I'm going to do whatever it takes. I don't want to be the same anymore. And you must simply decide. You make the decision. You either clear up the stuff and then you launch, or just go ahead and launch and clear it up as quickly as possible. Because if you don't clear it up, you will miss your target. Does this make sense, guys? Yeah. So what does an empowering decision look like? It looks like taking massive action. It looks like doing anything positive. That's an empowering decision. It means overcoming procrastination, getting beyond the procrastination. Procrastination is not making a decision, right? It's not taking action. So you want to overcome that. Any kind of personal and professional development, that is an empowering decision. Finish reading that book, right? You've probably bought 5 or 10 books sitting on your bookshelf that you haven't opened or read yet. Open one, read it, finish it, yeah? And just simply decide, whatever. Whatever it is you need to decide, then simply go ahead and decide and then just do it. Take some action. Joining a webinar, you've already made an empowering decision by joining us today, or a course, or committing to a certification program. These are all examples of what empowering decisions look like. So when I'm working with organizations, number one, I teach them this process on how to correctly structure a SMART goal, but then I'm also teaching them NLP tools and techniques and coaching tools and techniques on how to remove the negative emotion, how to align the values, and how to create positive thinking and empowering beliefs. And I would like to invite you to do the same with me, guys. We have the NLP Leadership Coaching 4-in-1 certification program coming up on the 5th to the 9th of November. It's here in Bangkok, and it's available as a full virtual workshop as well. So you can join us from Malaysia, Vietnam, China, wherever you are joining us from today, you can join this program as well. The regular investment is 79,900. Your webinar special is 50,000 baht for payment in full, or 10,500 per month over a 5-month payment plan. And the second amazing option for you is our ICF Leadership Coaching certification, which is, again, it's done here in Bangkok on number 12 to 15 of November, or the 14th and 15th of November as a full virtual workshop. There is some pre-study. If you're joining the virtual program, there's about 15 to 20 hours of pre-study. You join us on the 14th and 15th, and then there's some group coaching afterwards, all done online. The webinar special, 55,000 baht, and for a monthly payment plan, 11,500 over 5 months. So thank you all very, very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today as much as I did. Quickly turn your cameras on for me. Give me a little smile, please, so I can see all of these excellent, beautiful, smiling faces today. Hi, Adrian. Hi, Chiran. Hey, John, Volkmar, Pong. Awesome. So great to see you all guys today. Thank you all very, very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed. I'm going to send you an email with some of those special offers, and I will upload today's recording to the YouTube channel as well. I'll send you all the details in the email later this afternoon. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Wish you an amazing rest of the day. Bye for now. Take care.